Greed pulls the archaeologist Matt Karst into the forgotten tomb of the Martian god Rhiannon, and plunges the unlikely hero into the Red Planet's fantastic past, when vast oceans covered the land, and the legendary Sea Kings ruled from terraced palaces of decadence and delight. Hello and welcome to Liam's Lyceum. I'm your host Liam, aka Himbar, and today we'll be doing a spoiler-free review of Leigh Brackett's The Sword of Rhiannon. The Sword of Rhiannon is a 1949 novel or novella, somewhere around there, story published originally actually in Thrilling Wonder Stories as Sea Kings of Mars. And it was published in 1953 as an ace double with Conan the Conqueror, which is actually the same story as The Hour of the Dragon by Robert E. Howard, which I have actually previously reviewed. This is a Sword and Planet story, like the other Brackett story I've read by her, which was the Eric John Stark Black Amazon of Mars. This is swords over guns, though the latter are around. This also takes place on Mars, but follows the Earthman Matt Karst, and he is in the city of Jakara, where he acts as a thief, though he was once an archaeologist. He's kind of like Indiana Jones, essentially, right? He aims to ransack a temple to gods, best described as Lovecraftian. This is after getting access to the sword the story is named for, but greed wins out over fear, and Rhiannon himself, though, is actually an evil god known as the Cursed One from long ago, in fact, 1 million years ago. Funnily, in Welsh myth, where the name comes from, Rhiannon is a woman, but similarly there is a lady, Owain, even though in Arthuriana the name is for a knight of the Round Table. Anyways, likely some purposeful playing with Arthuriana. I'd imagine she knows what those names originally meant, but whatever. Similarly, there's a character named Scyld, as in the progenitor of the Skjoldung Danes. I imagine, again, that it was also pronounced skilled here, but Scyld is how it's spelled, like the Old English shield, so where we get the word shield. By the way, his name is literally Shield. But anyways, so Rhiannon was a rebel of the Quiru, a hero gods that were human but not quite. He is essentially Melkor to the Valar in Tolkien's Legendarium. This story involves time travel to a time when Mars was not still and dead, but watery and teeming with life. It's classic adventure fiction, but in an alien world, and it makes it part of the adventure, right? Like that Lost World genre, though we no longer feel so mesmerized by the hidden things on Earth, and so this is on a different planet at a different time. Very speculative fiction. The time travel is interesting, as instead of being set in our future, the Martians don't know Earthmen, right, in his past. So also the complaints about humidity to someone used to a dry climate are funny, but also, just good world building if very simple. Brackett does Edgar Rice Burroughs, Robert E. Howard, and I'd say maybe Ray Bradbury proud. Well, the Martian-Earthman relationship seems pretty reminiscent of European and foreigner relationship, typical of, Orientalist works. It's still a good adventure. Another gripe could be the lack of, even a hand wave as to why Karst can speak and understand a language from a million years ago. That doesn't happen often, even in today's fiction, so it's not a big deal, though. The Sarks are set against the Sea Kings in this story, though, including those of Khand, of fair hair and complexion, that Karst is mistaken for once he is among the Sarks. And there are other peoples, like the Sky People, that have wings and are compared to angels. He refers to them as halflings, sometimes actually. Also, there is a fish-like people referred to as such as well. And the Duvians are related to serpents, and they are wildly disliked in a Christian devil sort of way. This last gives an ancient evil feel, like the Told Folk from Bloodstone by Karl Edward Wagner. There's also a cosmic element. It feels Lovecraftian when things are described as not supernatural, but extrasensory, what Lovecraft would probably call paranormal. It's not mumbo-jumbo, though. Science could explain it. We just aren't quite there yet. The theme of charting your own course is prevalent, and Brackett feels like she writes for a certain dated audience, but she handles it better than many, which is to say it's not the same male fantasy, even if the main character is a man. One of the only kisses in the story ends in a bite, actually. There's also the theme of entropy and decay, vitality that wanes, but life still seems to cling on. It's almost dying Earth in this respect, and revenge also is an element. Think the ending of The Fortress of the Pearl somewhat, if you've read that by Michael Moorcock. It's very beautiful and a bittersweet ending. Quite an exceptional read, I'd say, and I enjoyed it more than Black Amazon Mars, which I already thought was a pretty enjoyable read. Of course, this is the author of a certain Star Wars film, or one of the original writers for it. I do wonder at the theological implications of aliens being human. Not sure if you get away with that these days. but it was pretty typical back in the day, obviously, for them to be human or very, very similar, if not quite human. Just like on Barsoom, the red Martians have babies from, what we would look at as like a bird type of egg. So, anyways, very enjoyable. You should read this one if you can get your hands on it. The newest version actually has an intro by Nicole Griffith, which I would like to read. I have an older 50s version. So, anyways, Leigh from Leon's Lyceum. I will catch you next time.